Hello everyone, welcome back to ladensercrotchets. If you're new here, my name is Liz, and in this tutorial we're going to make this hooded scarf that has pockets. Subscribe and let's get into it. You're going to need a medium weight yarn, a 5mm crochet hook, a pair of scissors, a measuring tape, and some stitch markers. Begin with a slip knot and chain 31. After the 31 chains, you're going to hold the 31st chain and chain one more. Then you're going to go into this stitch that you're holding with a single crochet. Then you're going to put your hook through that same stitch that you've worked. Go through that chain, pull a loop. Go into the next chain and pull a loop. Then go into the third chain and pull a fourth loop. Now you have 4 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through all the 4. Chain 1, go into that stitch that you've just worked and pull a loop. Go into the next one, pull a loop, and then go into the third one and pull another loop. Then yarn over, go through all the 4 loops and chain 1. Repeat into the same stitch that you've just worked, pull a loop, into the next one, pull another loop, into the third, pull another loop, then yarn over, pull through all and chain 1. And we're going to repeat this to the end. So 1 loop, then the second and the third, then yarn over and chain 1. At the end, you have 2 chains remaining, so begin with this one, pull a loop into the second last, and pull a loop in the third one. In the last stitch, then yarn over, pull through all. Now in this last part, we are not chaining 1. So after pulling through all the loops, we're just going to go into that stitch and place a single crochet without chaining. Remember, don't chain at the end of row 1. So our row 1 is done. Chain 1 and turn to begin row 2. We begin in this first stitch with a single crochet, then go into that same stitch, pull a loop into the next, and pull a loop into the third, yarn over, pull through all and chain 1. Then repeat what we've been doing. Whatever we did in row 1 is what you're repeating all the way to the end of row 2. I'm coming towards the end of row 2, so I've just chained 1, go into that stitch, pull a loop into the next and into the next, yarn over, pull through all the 4, chain 1, then we are in the last one. Here's our last stitch right here, so pull a loop right there for a total of 4 loops. Yarn over, pull through all the 4. Remember, you're not chaining at the end. You just go direct into that same stitch with a single crochet, chain 1 and turn to begin row 3. and we're going to work row 3 the same way we've worked row 2, and this is the row that we're going to repeat until we have the full length of. Take measurements. When you're measuring, do not stretch, just measure without stretching until you get that full length. I did a total of 200 rows, and my scarf is really long. Reason being, I want it to have pockets, so I've made it with an allowance for folding in order to create pockets for the scarf. So 200 rows. Yours do not have to be 200. You could do 100. You can do 150, depending on the length of the scarf that you want. But if you want it to have pockets, then you're going to need to make it really long. So now we're going to fold it and create the pockets. So I'm going to count 14 rows from this point. Actually 15. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Those are actually 8. So I want to count 15 rows after folding at this point. So I'm folding to create the pockets. And I'm just counting rows. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We can have it as 8 rows. And then we're going to count the other side. So just make sure that you're aligning your work well. And I'm going to mark these points with a stitch marker just to ensure that my work is well aligned. I should have mentioned that you're going to need a yarn needle or a darning needle, because that's what we're going to use to attach this side. So let me get my needle and then come back. I haven't cut my yarn yet, but we can cut at this point, leaving a tail for weaving in, for sewing the sides. So I'll just leave a not very long tail, then I'll pull it through and fasten, then get the needle and swing. So I'm just going to attach. So this side is attached, and I'm just going to hide this tail inside the stitches. Then cut off the remaining tail. Next, we're going to attach the other side. I just finished doing both pockets, and if you want your pockets deeper than that, you can count more number of rows. Right here I counted 16, so you can count 20 or 25, whatever works for you. So now the scarf is done without the hoodie, so we move on to making the hoodie. Now I'm going to make the hoodie separately, and then I'll attach it to the scarf. To work the hoodie, begin with a slip knot, and we're going to do the edging of the hoodie. So we're going to chain 5, hold the 5th, chain 1, go into the 5th with a single crochet, and place 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 5. Row 1 is done, chain 1, turn, do row 2, 1 single crochet in the first stitch and 1 single crochet into every stitch for a total of 5. We are working both loops. chain 1 and turn to begin row 3, 1 single crochet into every stitch, and these rows are simply 5 single crochets in all the rows. I'm going to work a total of 82 rows, and this represents the width of the hoodie. My 82 rows are ready, and now we're going to start working rows on each of the single crochet rows. So what we're going to do is you're going to chain 1 and go into this first gap right here, place a single crochet. Then next you're going to go into that same gap, pull a loop, go into the next gap, pull a loop, go into the third gap and pull a loop, then pull through all the 4, chain 1, go into that gap that we've just worked, same gap that we've ended with, pull a loop, go into the next, pull a loop, go into the next one and pull a loop. You have 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all the 4, chain 1, begin from that same gap, pull a loop into the next and into the third, pull through all, turn over, pull through all, chain 1, then into the same gap, the next and the next, pull loops, turn over, pull through all the 4, chain 1, and then we repeat to the end. Repeat till you have 2 gaps remaining. I'll meet you there. So as you can see, I have this gap and the last gap remaining. Now we're going to go into this stitch that we've just worked, pull a loop, go into the next one, pull a loop. Now instead of working into this gap, I'll work at the end right here, just to ensure that the edge is straight. Pull a loop, yarn over, pull through all. You're not chaining 1 at the end, remember, so just go into that stitch directly and put a single crochet. Chain 1, turn to begin row 2, and we're just going to repeat these rows same way we repeated with the main scarf. Now at this point we're going to start with a single crochet in the first stitch, go into that first stitch, pull a loop, go into the next, pull a loop, go into the third stitch and pull a loop, yarn over, pull through the 4, chain 1 and repeat to the end. We're going to repeat these rows till we have the desired length of the hoodie. I'll come back and show you how many rows I'll have done to get the length of the hoodie that I want. I went on to make 30 rows of the hoodie part, and this is what I have right here. I should have left a longer tail for sewing these two ends, but I didn't. So I'm going to get my yarn needle, and I'm going to attach this point right here. Remember, this is a ribbon part that goes to the front part or to your face. This is the part that will be close to your face. So we're going to attach this to this side right here. So I'm marking over the tails just to make sure they are hidden. You may have a different sewing technique, different from mine, so you can use whatever works for you, provided these two ends are joined together. Just sew the way you do it. At the end, put a knot. Then we're going to hide the remaining tail inside the stitches. When you're satisfied that the tail is well hidden, just cut off the remaining tail. And there we have our hoodie. Now we're just going to get the scarf and we're going to attach. Right here is my scarf. And you're going to place it this way. So this is the wrong side of. You want to ensure that when you're sewing, the inside part of the scarf is aligned with the inside part of the hoodie. And you're going to determine the middle of your scarf. And I do that by folding my scarf into two, like this. Fold it like this. This is the middle part right here. Then you're going to get stitch markers and attach it to the middle part of the hoodie. Then you also need to align the sides and determine where you're going to join. So on this side, I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. That is 32 rows. At the end of the 32, I'll join. Just align your work. It doesn't have to be at the 32 stitch mark. It doesn't have to be this attached the same way I'm attaching mine. Just make sure that you're aligning your work well. Just align it well and mark. Then on this side, other side, I don't really have to mark on the other side. I can just get the darning needle, count the rows. The number of rows on this side should be the same number of rows on this other side. So I'll just get my darning needle and count the rows on this side. Then I'll start joining the hoodie and the scarf together. Right here is where I start joining. So I'll get these ends and the end on the other side, on the hoodie. join these together on the first stitch. I like to tie a knot at the beginning just to secure that part. Then I'll start joining. I'll start sewing these together, working over my tails. So at the end you want to hide the tail just to secure it, to secure this piece. Hide the tail inside the stitches. Then cut off the remaining tail. And our hoodie is attached to the scarf. Now I'm going to work on the pockets. I feel like the pockets are not deep enough, so I'm going to undo whatever I had sewn on this side and on the other side just to make them deeper. I want it to come up to a point right here. So let me do that, then I'll show you the outcome. You can make the pockets as deep as you want. It's all up to you. So this is what I got after deepening mine. And this is the final look on the, this is the hoodie. This is the final look on that scarf. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you get to recreate this, do not forget to tag me on Instagram or on TikTok. I like to repost your recreations. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment, leave a comment, tell me what you think about this pattern, and like the video. See you in the next tutorial. Bye.